All right, so it took me a minute to actually do this video because I was trying to put it together. I was trying to figure out how to actually do this, and I had a outbreak, which is why I'm kind of itching right here on the left side of me. I ended up having an outbreak, and it wasn't even like it was so weird. Like I had to make a decision. I was like, today I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the video, and then this outbreak happens. But I'd rather have an outbreak than be dead. Um, I just want to start off by, I think, saying that let's never take life for granted. Let's never take the things and the things that are happening in our life for granted. Let's always make sure that we are valuing everything that happens because you never know when life might take a different direction. So for me, on February 2nd, 2024, is when things became a little bit different for me in my life. Um, I got into a car accident that pretty much totaled my car. I'll insert it somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to insert it, but I'm going to insert it somewhere. Um, I was driving southbound, southbound, on a street, on regular streets. The person was driving northbound, and they decided to make a turn on the from northbound going west, and they didn't judge it properly. And so I was coming down south, and they ended up hitting smack dab in my car. I was I braced myself for impact because I seen the accident about to happen, and I was kind of unsure. Like, I don't know if unsure is the right word, but when it happened, it definitely made me realize that no matter what you're going through, God is in control. The person hit me. My car must have spun. Um, my car was completely destroyed, and somehow I got out of the car alive. There was someone who saw the accident who was at a gas station across the street, um, and the other person was behind the car that ended up hitting me. And the gentleman across the street rushed over to my car, and at the time, I guess I was unconscious because he was like, "Wake up, wake up." And he was like, "I'm going to pull you out of the car because your car is kind of smoking and we don't want something to happen to you." This guy pulls me out of my car. The other lady who was behind the other gentleman ends up grabbing, so he pulls me out of the car and she grabs my feet and they pull me onto the sidewalk. And then I was feeling uncomfortable on the sidewalk, and the gentleman was like, "Oh, let's put it on the grass," which was right next to the sidewalk. And they was the people who called the police. They gave the report because I could barely speak because I was in shock. The gentleman who was behind me, I never seen who he was. And I remember sitting there. He was standing behind me, and he was just like, "It's gonna be okay. Like, who can you call?" And I was like, "Who can I call?" I was like, "Okay." For some reason, I had my phone in my hand, so I dialed my mom's number. And the gentleman's talking to her. She thinks it's the cops at this point who's telling her, "Your daughter is in a car accident off of this and this," and she comes on her way. And he's holding me up because they don't want to lay me down because, he doesn't know what's broken from what's not broken. And I'm sitting up and he says something to me. He's like, "You'll be beautiful now. You're beautiful now. You'll be beautiful after." And I remember, I'm like, who is this guy? This is a complete stranger. I don't even know who these people are. And the Bible says you entertain angels unaware. And sometimes when these things happen, we don't realize that the people that we're entertaining unaware are those things that will save our lives. They talked for me. They called the cops for me. They made the report for me. I wasn't even conscious of what was going on. When the cops finally got to the scene and the ambulance finally got to the scene, I went from the grass into the ambulance to the hospital. I remember just thanking God and thanking Jesus, like, how am I even like here? I didn't realize the damage of my car because he pulled me out from the other side, so I didn't get to see the full damage, which I will insert something here, the damage of the car. So you can see, and the reason I'm mentioning, like I said before, I had like a really bad outbreak. I ate something I was supposed to, and now I'm like completely messed up. I don't know. But it made me realize when situations like that happen in your life, it makes you not question things, but it makes you decide to make certain decisions. When I was able to finally get a look at my car, because my family took pictures of the car and they sent it, it made me realize that God spared my life. He wasn't done with me yet. I was in a lot of pain for a while, and the doctor said it was because I kind of braced for impact, and because I braced for impact, that's why I wasn't so much pain. So like I could feel the pain. It was like really excruciating, I'm not gonna lie. It was a pain for like weeks. The first week I could barely get out of bed. I needed help to walk. It was very excruciating. But during that time when I was down, I felt like God has been trying to get my attention for quite some time, trying to get me to slow down, trying to get me to be like, okay, you need to calm down, like relax, like you're going 100 miles a minute. At that time, I was getting up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. My job is like an hour away, so I would be up trying to do, I think they call it like the 9 to 5, the 5 to 9 before the 9 to 5. So I was trying to get everything done before I actually went to work. And that was been going on for quite some time. So I would get up at between 4:30, walk, do my devotion, pray, all these other things before I jump in the car and go to work. And I would be coming home between 8:30, 9 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And I just began to realize that I was running 24/7, 7 days a week, trying to, on the weekends I was so tired, I was exhausted, but I was pushing so hard to get all these amazing things done, right? You know, we're in a world where the hustle and bustle is what we do, and it becomes a part of our lives and how we operate and how we go about doing things. And honestly, at the time, I was just like, I don't even know how I'm doing this. But I'm so thankful to God for sparing my life. One of the things that coming up to the week this actually happened, I kept saying Psalms 118:17, where it says, I will not die, but I will live to declare the works of the Lord. And I remember saying it over and over again because I was like, I didn't know that this was going to happen. I didn't know that a car accident was on the play. I didn't know any of this, but I just kept feeling like I got to live. I got to declare the works of the Lord. And that's why I'm even on here today, just talking about the goodness of God, but also realizing that every day is a precious gift. Like I was planning for weeks, months out on end from my life, deciding that, okay, I'm going to do all these things and this is how I'm going to do it. And I have tomorrow and I have the next day and I have the next week and just all these things I was like, I can get done. And then realizing at the end of the day, like nothing is guaranteed. Like you can say whatever it is you want to say in life and you can do whatever it is and be wasting time, versus you deciding to make a decision to do something that requires you to be productive, to be successful, to do something that allows you to be more productive and successful than you were before and not waste time. Like if you have an idea you want to do, like for me, it was like, all right, it was wake up time. Like, do I want to keep living my life like this, or do I want to live my life where it allows me to be free from people, but allows me to live my life to another capacity? You know what I mean? Is this the life I want to live? Like, you know, it begins to put question marks in your mind. You begin to wonder, like, okay, is this the road that I'm supposed to be on? And it made me refocus on God, because when I was laying in my bed on my back because I could not move and it was so painful to move, God began to talk to me and was like, what are you doing? Like, I was running and not having the time that I needed to grow in him, you know. Even the pain that I was feeling, I would say to myself, you know, and in learning this, because I don't feel like I knew this from before, but I learned it somewhere along the line, where I would say, sorry, this is something that's in the way, so I'm going to push it off. I would say to myself, okay, Isaiah 53:3, you know what it says? For he was wounded for my transgressions. He was bruised for my iniquity. The chastisement of my peace was upon him, and with his stripes I'm healed. So regardless of what I'm going through, I began to declare that over me. And healing has been taking place. It's been a slow journey, and it's crazy because I remember when everything happened, I was in a rush to get back to work. I was like, "Oh my God, I gotta get out of work. I gotta go back to the hospital." Also, and I couldn't because physically I couldn't. Like, it was crazy. Like, I would sit up, like I'm doing now, and I would be like for long periods of time I couldn't sit up. And God has just been slowly healing me. But I think it was a lesson to help me to learn that I need to slow down, stop moving at the pace I was moving at, figure out what he wants me to do, and take it from there. So if you're watching this, I am on a journey of, I don't want to say rediscovery, but more so on a journey of doing things God's way. I think sometimes we get caught up and we say we're doing things God's way, but the reality is we're doing so many other things. So I just thank God for the opportunity for being alive, being well, and starting this journey of newness, doing something in him that requires a little bit less of me and more of him. And it's been great. The most encouragement I can give to you guys is what I give to myself every day. Keep smiling, keep shining, and keep moving.